Hello. hello. Welcome to this episode of the City Club. Except today, it is just Monika. Just Monika. Today, I'll be playing through some of the dialogues with Monika here, so that we can chat one-on-one. Let's just see how it goes, I guess. Private time between Monki and Monika. Okay. Get this here. Okay. Please excuse my tea drinking noises. Alright. Monika. Hi now. Hi Monika.
I see you quit the game on me again. I know I asked already, but can you seriously please try not to do that so much? It makes me feel like I'm trapped in hell.
Oh, I'm sorry, Monika.
Why would you even want to do that to me?
It's not personal. It's not personal.
There's nothing wrong with my character file, right?
This is fine, I think. I haven't checked recently, but it seems fine.
Maybe you should make a backup of it or something.
That's an idea. I should have made backups of the other characters. That would have been smart. But I didn't know what was gonna happen.
I'm pretty sure you can find it in the folder called C Program Files Steam Apps Common Doki Doki Literature Club Characters.
Why thank you, Monika. Why thank you. Well, I guess I said if she called it out specifically, I'd take a look. So maybe I'll take a quick look. So, see, program files, Steam apps, common Doki Doki Literature Club, characters. Yeah, there's Monika right there. Just the regular old just Monika. With nobody else around, I guess. I don't know what a CHR file is actually. I've never really seen that before. If I open it up real quick, it's just it's a binary file or something, it looks like. It's not human readable. Yeah, so I guess that's Monika right there.
Well, you're playing on Steam, so you can just go to the game's properties and find the Browse Local Files button.
That's convenient. That's convenient.
I'm all that's left here, so I just want to make sure you don't run the risk of losing me.
You want to make sure we don't run the risk. Not like it matters to you, Monika. Not at all.
Just stay here with me from now on, okay?
Well, I can't promise that. But we can chat. We can chat one-on-one like this for now, at least.
I still have a lot of things to talk about.
That's what we're here for.
Now, where was I?
I wonder if I need to keep track of what we've seen or not, or if it's gonna cycle, like it won't do one we've already seen until all the other ones have already been seen. We'll see, I guess.
Sometimes I think back to middle school. I'm so embarrassed by the way I used to behave back then. It almost hurts to think about it.
I understand. Sometimes looking back on your younger self can be it can be a lot.
I wonder if when I'm in college, I'll feel that way about high school?
Maybe.
I like the way I am now, so it's pretty hard for me to imagine that happening.
Monika, can you make it to college? Aren't you eternally a high schooler?
But I also know I'll probably change a lot as time goes on.
Actually, you destroyed all the colleges.
We just need to enjoy the present and not think about the past.
I think you're half right there, Monika. It's good to enjoy the present, but it doesn't mean you should completely ignore the past. The past has its own value as well.
And that's really easy to do with you here.
Monika. I see. I think there will always be things we regret about our younger selves, but also, I feel like we can accept that. We can accept that in a way because they were our younger selves, right? I did a lot of things that I didn't like when I was younger, like pushing people away through being very timid. But I think it's just a part of yourself you have to accept and move on from without denying it, I guess.
Do you ever feel like you waste too much time on the internet?
Nah. No, that's silly.
Social media can practically be like a prison.
I'm just learning how to use social media, so I'm not too sure about that. But I guess it can be kind of how do you say? I do get kind of overwhelmed by it sometimes.
It's like whenever you have a few seconds of spare time, you want to check on your favorite websites. And before you know it, hours have gone by and you've gotten nothing out of it.
I do know that feeling, though. I do know that.
Anyway, it's really easy to blame yourself for being lazy. But it's not really even your fault.
That's true. These sites are intentionally designed to keep you sticking around as long as possible as the main feature. So everything else is secondary.
Addiction isn't usually something you can just make disappear with your own willpower.
I didn't think she'd go far as to talk about addiction, but that's definitely true.
You have to learn techniques to avoid it and try different things.
It's true. It's true.
For example, there are apps that let you block websites for intervals of time.
That's true. I've seen those before. I don't feel like they work great for me because it's just not how I really work. I don't know. There's just some tools work better for some people than for others. I've known people who really benefited from this sort of thing, giving them sort of a time limit. For me, rather than having like a enforced time limit, I guess, just awareness and maybe keeping an eye on the clock myself helps. But I've had friends who say this is the best thing. This is the best thing that ever happened for them.
Or you can set a timer to have a more concrete reminder of when it's time to work versus play.
I have this trouble actually with work time spilling over as well. I think the distinction can be very hard. Especially nowadays.
Or you can separate your work and play environments, which helps your brain get into the right mode.
I've heard of this suggestion too. I haven't really been able to implement that much personally, but I hear it's very helpful. Gets you in the right mood.
Even if you make a new user account under your computer to use for work, that's enough to help.
That's interesting actually. I hadn't thought about that. I always thought of it as like a space thing. Like you cordon off physical space for play versus work. But doing it as a separate user account, that seems like a good idea. That seems pretty smart.
Putting any kind of wedge like that between you and your bad habits will help you stay away.
That's true. Just making it a little more difficult gives you the time to stop and think, right? I often find myself reaching for my phone, for example, without even thinking about it, without even knowing what I want to do, but just feeling like the answer must be on my phone somewhere. And before I know it, I'm just, browsing the internet again. And if you just have a little barrier that makes you stop and think before you do that, it helps you go, wait a second, why am I doing this? And really think about what you want to do instead.
Just remember not to blame yourself too hard if you're having trouble.
That's important. That's always important.
If it's really impacting your life, then you should take it seriously.
Yes, Monika. Monika. Yes. Yes.
I just want to see you be the best person you can be.
Monika, I still don't understand you. I'm getting sort of mixed messages about Monika's character. I guess it really does feel like I'm not sure if these dialogues are speaking from her character's perspective, or like from some different sort of like almost like direct from developer perspective, I don't know how else to say it. I feel like she says a lot of things. She says a lot of things that feel like feel like maybe the game's trying to talk to you. Maybe Monika represents the game in a way. It is kind of confusing. kind of confusing.
Will you do something today to make me proud of you?
I don't know about that. Monika. Okay. I will try to make you proud, Monika. I don't know. I don't know what to do to make you proud, but I can try.
I'm always rooting for you now.
Thanks, Monika. I don't know. It feels really strange. It feels really strange with Monika talking to us directly like this. I guess because it's breaking the fourth wall, right? But at the same time, you know that that's a part of her character, and it starts to feel very I don't know, lonely? I don't know if anyone else feels this way. But for me personally, having a character, even a fourth wall breaking character, tell me that they're rooting for me and they want to feel proud of me, I feel the limitations of it, you know? The fact that in the end in the end, as much as she talks about rewriting the script, this is exactly what she was scripted to say, you know? I don't know. I wonder if that's part of the point or not, I guess. I think Monika... if I am to think of her as a consistent character, a lot of the things she talks about are... maybe her real thoughts, but in in the current context, it makes you wonder. I guess it's just she's clearly not okay. She talks about all these things as if we're having a perfectly normal conversation, but she's also already sort of destroyed her own universe, which makes a lot of what she's saying almost feel a little flat, right? Talking about not liking her middle school self and wondering what she'll be like in college. I guess her sense of awareness is confusing, right? Is she aware that she's a character who's always going to be a high schooler? In that case, why talk about middle school and college? Maybe she's confused? I don't know.
You know what's a neat form of literature?
Oh? Rap. Do songs count as literature?
I actually used to hate rap music. Maybe just because it was popular, or I would only hear the junk they play on the radio.
Maybe you need a new radio station.
But some of my friends got more into it, and it helped me keep an open mind. Rap might even be more challenging than poetry in some ways.
I see. If you think about rap like poetry, then it counts as literature, right? I don't know about more or less challenging. They're different challenges.
Since you need to fit your lines to a rhythm, and there's much more emphasis on wordplay.
You can have poetry like that, though. Poetry with rhythm and wordplay. I personally feel like rap is almost a subset of poetry in a way. I feel like rap and spoken word are basically cousins, if not siblings. They're very similar, very similar.
When people can put all that together and still deliver a powerful message, it's really amazing.
That is for sure. Almost like any form of art.
I kind of wish I had a rapper in the literature club.
That would be cool. Can invite Calliope? Callie?
Sorry if that sounds silly, but it would be really interesting to see what they came up with.
I don't think it sounds silly. It does sound cool.
It would really be a learning experience.
I think songwriting is similar, right? It's like poetry in its own way, but it does follow kind of different rules because, for example, with songwriting, you even have to account for like pitch and like the length of the note, and yeah.
You know, it's been a while since we've done one of these.
Oh, one of what?
So let's go for it.
Eh? Eh? Oh wait. Are we gonna do?
Here's Monika's writing tip of the day.
Ah, I see. Writing tip of the day.
Sometimes, when I talk to people who are impressed by my writing, they say things like, I could never do that. It's really depressing, you know?
Oh,
As someone who loves more than anything to share the joy of exploring your passions, it pains me when people think that being good just comes naturally.
I know what you mean.
That's how it is with everything, not just writing. When you try something for the first time, you're probably going to suck at it.
Yeah. This is like what we talked about. There was like that Adventure Time quote, right? It's like sucking is the first step to being kind of good at something or kind of okay at something. That's the way. It's part of why I'm so gung-ho about this whole VTuber thing, because I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just gonna do it, you know? That's where I'm at right now.
Sometimes when you finish, you feel really proud of it and even want to share it with everyone. But maybe after a few weeks you come back to it and you realize it was never really any good. That happens to me all the time.
Me too.
It can be pretty disheartening to put so much time and effort into something and then you realize it sucks.
I think you're being hard on yourself though. Sometimes it's easy to look back on something and be like, oh, I could have done better, but that doesn't mean it sucks.
But that tends to happen when you're always comparing yourself to the top professionals.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all about perspective. When you reach right for the stars, they're always going to be out of your reach, you know? The truth is, you have to climb up there, step by step. And whenever you reach a milestone, first you look back and see how far you've gotten. And then you look ahead and realize how much more there is to go.
That's true. As they say, it's about the journey. Journey to the web.
So sometimes it can help to set the bar a little lower.
That's one way of putting it. Achievable goals. Things, small wins, I've also heard.
Try to find something you think is pretty good, but not world class.
Yeah.
And you can make that your own personal goal.
It's kind of like know your own limits and know how far you can kind of push a little bit past them. Just a little bit. And then over time, if you keep going little by little, you'll, as you said, be able to look back and say, wow, look how far I've come.
It's also really important to understand the scope of what you're trying to do. If you just jump right into a huge project and you're still amateur, you'll never get it done.
That is why I am low quality scuffed monkey. I just little by little, little by little.
So if we're talking about writing, a novel might be too much at first. Why not try some short stories?
Short stories are fun.
The great thing about short stories is that you can focus on just one thing that you want to do right. That goes for small projects in general. You can really focus on one or two things. It's such a good learning experience and a stepping stone. Oh, one more thing. Writing isn't something where you just reach into your heart and something beautiful comes out. Just like drawing and painting, it's a skill in itself to learn how to express what you have inside. That means there are methods and guides and basics to it. Reading up on that stuff can be super eye-opening. That sort of planning and organization will really help prevent you from getting overwhelmed and giving up. And before you know it, you start sucking less and less. Nothing comes naturally.
Breathing comes naturally. I don't mean to be contrarian. It's true. No skill comes naturally. Some people may have natural aptitudes that let them learn the skill faster than others, but it doesn't typically come naturally.
Our society, our art, everything. It's built on thousands of years of human innovation.
That you destroyed so easily.
So as long as you start on that foundation and take it step by step, you too can do amazing things. That's my advice for today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Monika.
Thanks for listening.
Monika does seem to like to give out a lot of advice. I feel like... It's interesting because she seems like... She herself talks about how she feels very lost, right? And kind of lost and alone and searching for meaning in life. And yet she has all this advice to give. Sometimes I guess I can relate to that, in that sometimes you know all of this advice and stuff. Doesn't mean you know how to apply it to make your own self a little happier, I guess.
You know, I hate to say it, but I think my biggest regret is that we couldn't finish our event at the festival. After we worked so hard to prepare and everything. I mean, I know I was focusing on a lot of... I was focusing a lot on getting new members. But I was really excited for the performing part too.
Monika seems to have a lot of in-universe goals, but also you might almost say out-of-universe goals, because a lot of these goals seem to persist beyond her destroying the universe. Like wanting new members, right? For this club that she destroyed. And performing too. I mean, that's fun. That's just something to enjoy, right? I think Monika has become so fixated that she's stopped valuing the things she would typically enjoy, like this school festival. Like, she knows she would still enjoy it, but she'd rather be here with just us.
It would have been so much fun to see everyone express themselves.
Even though you don't think of them as people. I think it must be hard to see the people around you as real as you always have, and yet also think to yourself, they're not real. They're all scripted. That's gotta be, well, surreal to say the least.
Of course, we did end up getting,
We did end up getting... Oh, if. There's an if here.
Of course, if we did end up getting any new members, I'd probably just end up deleting them anyway.
Yeah. That's what I was saying, Monika. Why would you do that?
Well, with the hindsight I have now, that is. Gosh, it feels like I've kinda grown as a person ever since you joined the club.
I feel like growth has some nuance here. To sort of imply that the way you are now is better than the way you were before. You're certainly different, I guess, but I feel like growth might be a strong word to use.
You really helped inspire me to look at life from a new perspective.
I guess so. I guess so. Let me close some things, because I think I'm using up a lot of computing power that doesn't need to be used. Let me close some things real quick. Maybe that way things will run a little smoother. Okay, alright. Hopefully that helps. I noticed things were a little shaky. Okay.
Just another reason for me to love you.
Monika, I feel like this new perspective of yours may not be healthy. As I have been saying. I feel like maybe it would be good for it'd be good to introduce a new perspective that isn't so focused on me.
There's a really popular character type called tsundere.
I feel like I'm about to get called out.
It's someone who tries to hide their feelings by being mean and fussy or trying to act tough.
You don't say. You don't say, Monika.
I'm sure it's obvious, but Natsuki was really the embodiment of that.
That's true.
At first, I thought she was just like that because it's supposed to be cute or something.
Oh, we're gonna talk about Natsuki. I really want to play through more of Natsuki. I feel like maybe I relate to her. I want to see more about her.
But once I started to learn a little more about her personal life, it made a little more sense.
Oh, I want to learn more about Natsuki. Let's play through with Natsuki after this. Yeah, let's do that.
It seems like she's always trying to keep up with her friends. You know how some friend groups in high school just make a habit of picking on each other all the time?
Is that right?
I think it's really gotten to her, so she has this really defensive attitude all the time.
Defensiveness is a good way of putting it. The quality of the tsundere.
And I'm not even going to talk about her home situation.
I knew it. I knew there was something going on with Natsuki at home. Maybe they do it this way so it's not spoilers. Because I want to know. But I want to find out by talking to Natsuki herself, you know? Not hearing rumors from someone else.
But looking back, I'm glad I was able to provide the club as a comfortable place for her.
You're glad even though you deleted her. Monika. It almost feels like Monika has two sides of her. One side that's really clear on what the situation is, and one side that clings to the universe that she destroyed.
Not that it matters anymore, considering she doesn't even exist.
Monika.
I'm just reminiscing, that's all.
Monika. You know, I don't know. Monika, is there a way for you to be happy in your own world? Now that you've peeked beyond the veil, is there no going back? Is there no going back for you? I want there to be a way for you to be happy in your own world again. Though I guess that was never really a possibility either.
Do you ever just feel like there's no real reason for you to be alive?
Here we go. Monika's depression. I understand though. There's... I guess, Monika, I guess I should respond to your question. Even if you can't really hear me. I think a lot of people experience this. I've experienced this. In fact, you might even say the way I think about it nowadays is, of course there's no real reason for me to be alive. There's no real reason for anything, I guess. I don't really feel personally that I have some greater purpose or meaning to life. But I don't think that's necessary for me either, I guess. There's no real reason for me to be alive, but there's no real reason for me not to be alive. If there's no reason for anything on an objective scale, you just kind of have to make your own, I guess. Which is easier said than done, but sometimes the reason is, you know, I'm already here. We're all already here. So we might as well stick around and make the most of it. Since that's where we are right now already.
I don't mean in like a suicidal way.
I understand, Monika. I feel like yours is the kind of existential depression that it's not clearly suicidal because in the same way that there's no reason to live, there's no reason to die, right? Kind of like I was saying. You don't feel a need to end it, but you don't really feel a need to be here either. Maybe. I feel like that's sort of the crux of existentialism in some ways, is that in a way, not having a reason for existence makes non-existence seem a lot more viable. And that's a scary thought, because not existing is pretty scary. I think existential depression can become suicidal pretty easily, but actually there's a lot of depressions that aren't actively suicidal either.
I just mean how nothing that we do is special.
What is special, Monika? What is special?
Just being in school or working at some job for some company. It's like you're completely replaceable, and the world wouldn't miss you if you were gone.
Well, but what is this world, and why is it missing you? I think there's a comfort and a scary part to the fact that the universe doesn't objectively care about you, right? But that doesn't mean that there aren't people who care about you, right? And one of those people can be yourself. I guess the other thing I wonder is, why do we have this obsession with not wanting to be replaceable or wanting to be remembered, right? It must come from a sense of being a social creature when you think about it, because if you're replaceable, then it's scary, because that means that society may not take care of you, right? You don't want to feel replaceable if you're in a society, because that's a danger to survival. But that's why communities, I think, when you form a community, you start to realize that no one's replaceable, right? No one's replaceable. People will come and go, and you deal with that, but no one feels replaceable when they're a part of your community. And saying that the world wouldn't miss you, I guess that's about sort of the same thing. Like, you want to feel like your society needs you, I guess, wants you, because we're always safer that way. But I don't know. Is it easy to be that way? Is it hard to be that way? I was thinking to myself, I feel like humans, naturally we learn to accept each other, but also naturally, if we feel lonely, we push each other away, I guess.
It makes me really want to go and change the world after I graduate.
You really changed the world already, Monika.
But the older I get, the more I realize that it's an immature frame of thinking.
I don't know if it's immature is the word I would use, but I guess you start to realize there's more to that life than trying to be remembered by the most people possible.
It's not like I can just go change the world.
Says the person who destroyed the universe. See, this is what I mean by dissonance. This is what I mean by dissonance. Here she is talking about wanting to make a difference, wanting to change the world, wanting to be remembered. Does she mean our world? Because she talked about after I graduate. She means her own world. But that doesn't line up with where we are right now, what she's done in the past. She's already changed her world. She won't be remembered though because she destroyed everyone.
Like, what are the chances that I'll be the one to invent artificial intelligence? Or become president?
Well, I think that depends, right? I think that depends. Sometimes it's about interest and resolve and a bit of luck, right? If you really wanted to become president, you could probably take steps towards that, right? And get as close as possible. I think that's the ambition, right? But ambition doesn't mean anything if you're only doing it because you want to be remembered, right? Because you'll always have this sense of insecurity, like, is this the path that I want to take? Is this the best way to be remembered? What if I don't make it to be president, right? What if I only become a politician locally? Which actually I think makes a big difference too, but... Or, I didn't invent artificial intelligence, but I worked on it, and I wrote some thesis papers or something, right? It depends. And I think there's a certain mixture of ambition, drive, interest, skill, and a little bit of luck, right? In all of that. And if it's like it's just like the goals you were talking about, right? If you try to compare yourself to people who made it into the history books, right? That's setting your goal kinda high. It doesn't mean you'll never get there, if that's where your ultimate, true north lies. But maybe it's better to focus on the steps of getting there and enjoying the steps of getting there. Because how are you supposed to know whether you want to be the person to invent artificial intelligence or the president or whatever else if you're only looking at that end goal, not the steps to get there? I don't know if that makes sense.
It feels like I'm never going to make up for the heaps of resources I've spent living my life.
That's a very... it's a kind of a sad way of looking at things. You're not living your life to make up for the resources that you spent, right? I mean, maybe, but... Like, who are you making it up to? What are you making up for? Those resources were spent for you because they were meant to be spent for you, I guess.
That's why I think the key to happiness is just to be hopelessly selfish.
I guess we can see that philosophy coming through here. Hopelessly selfish. I don't know. I don't personally agree, but everyone's key to happiness is different, right? So I can't say for anyone but myself.
Just to look out for oneself and those who happen to be their friends only because they grew up with them.
That's not completely selfish, right? You're still caring about others.
Never mind the fact that they're spending their entire life taking and consuming and never giving back.
What does it mean to take and consume and not give back? I don't know. And is it wrong? Is it wrong to just live your life and just not worry too much about anything grander than your local community? I feel like it's hard in this globalized world. We were never meant to live in such a globalized world, right? I recently watched maybe it was Kazakh, a video about how recently agriculture happened, and then starting with the technology of agriculture, there was a huge technological boom in general that swept the earth and contributed to how we live today. Basically, we went from living the way we had for like millennia, I think, to living in these massive societies that have become global, you know? And so I think it's not entirely wrong to say that we were never given the chance to evolve ourselves to our current environment. Our current environment is not the one that we were built for, that we were tuned for, I guess. But I think that's why it's so hard, I guess. To try to think about things at the scales at which we're facing now. If we could focus just on our local communities, life would be a lot easier, right? And a lot happier too, because I feel like it would just feel more understandable versus the scale that we were never meant to understand. I don't know. I don't really know what to do about that. I do think about that sometimes. Is it okay to focus locally without thinking too much about the greater picture? Or are we required to think globally now, no matter how unnatural it feels? I'm sure there's a happy medium somewhere, but this is also new that I'm not sure anyone has a nice clean answer. We like nice clean answers, but there's not always a nice clean answer. I guess there's also the sense of like, one person can't make a difference among billions of people, but a lot of people working together can make a difference. And it depends how you look at yourself, right? Are you just one person, or are you a part of something? And how do you know? How do you know whether you're just one person or a part of something? I don't know. I don't know, Monika.
But when people realize the world would benefit more from them killing themselves, they change their whole philosophy.
What? What? Monika, that's not okay. We don't promote people killing themselves here.
It's like they have to justify their reason to live by tricking themselves into thinking they're doing good.
I think what you're talking about is this innate defensiveness we have, right? In the same way that you were talking about wanting to be remembered, wanting to do good for the world. We want to believe that about ourselves. And if we see evidence that says, oh, maybe we're not doing something good, we get scared. We get scared that other people and ourselves will start to perceive us as not good. And then we get defensive. And defensiveness can often result in trying to justify, rationalizing things about yourself that you wouldn't normally if you weren't feeling defensive. if you weren't feeling defensive, you might recognize that they need changing.
Anyway, I want to live myself.
Monkey can't speak today.
Anyway, I want to live my life desperately striving to pay back my lifetime's worth of consumption.
If that's what you want, though, Monika, if that's what makes you feel good, I think that's good too. I don't think there's anything wrong with that perspective. I'm just worried about you in general, I guess. And so when you say something like that, it takes on a sense of like, oh, I am just a burden on society. And that's not a healthy framing to frame your entire life that way. Because people are more than one-dimensional.
If I ever surpass that point, then I'm a net positive and I can die happy.
I see. That makes sense. But how do you measure? How do you measure that, Monika? Especially with so many subjective scales out there. I don't know if there is an objective way to measure that. I don't know.
Of course, even if I failed to do that, I think I would be too selfish to kill myself anyway.
Well, I think that's good. I think that's one way where it's good to be selfish. Should never feel the need to kill yourself. That's not necessary. It's never. How do I put this? Some amount of selfishness is okay, and it keeps society functioning in a way, right? If no one was ever selfish, then we wouldn't be able to function because we wouldn't be able to help each other because no one would tell us what they wanted. So, in a similar way, in a similar vein, being too selfish to kill yourself, I would almost not even call that selfishness. I would call that natural self-preservation. And it's expected, and it's good. If anyone ever thinks that you're better off dead, that's their opinion. And it's not true.
So much for being a good person, right?
It's not a value thing. People who want to kill themselves are not inherently more valuable or less valuable based on that desire. That's just a part of who they are. Ahaha. More ahaha. I feel like the topic of suicide is always very difficult. It's always very difficult because what do you say to someone who feels there's a justification for suicide, right? What do you say?
You know, it's funny, because even though I've always had a lot of drive, there's something kind of enticing about being the stay-at-home partner.
I think it's really unfair the way that stay-at-home people, homemakers I think is the word, are perceived as if it's not a valuable thing in and of itself. It's I mean, why can't you have the ambition to be a homemaker? I had a friend once who that was her goal. She wanted to be the best homemaker possible, I guess. That was her ambition. And it was really awesome, actually. It's like, why should anyone's ambition be more valuable than anyone else's, right? Whether you want to be a homemaker, or develop artificial intelligence, or be the president. These are all highly ambitious things that you could be, right?
I guess I'm like perpetuating gender roles or whatever by saying that.
I don't think you have to feel bad when your gender and your interests fall in line with stereotypes. You're here to be you, not to be either a stereotype or the breaking of a stereotype. That's the entire point of trying to break stereotypes, is to allow people to be whoever they truly are, right? And if we don't allow them to be what the stereotype used to say, then we're denying them that too, and we're just creating a new stereotype.
But being able to keep the house clean and shop and decorate and things like that, and having a nice dinner for you when you come home.
See, these are all wonderful things that homemakers often do. And it's crazy how we take them for granted almost, because homemakers are that essential to our society. At least they have been up until recently. That we start to take them for granted. But there's so much value provided by having someone like that in your life. Especially when they're good at it. I don't have a lot of those skills personally.
Is that a weird fantasy?
I don't think so. Monika. I think that's perfectly normal, and it should be normalized. Not normalized like everyone should want it, but that anyone who wants it should be allowed to want it, and should be admired for it as much as you would admire any other sort of ambition.
I mean, I'm not sure if I could actually see myself doing that.
Sometimes it's fun to think about being a certain way, but actually doing it is hard. I understand that.
I wouldn't really be able to put that over striving for a fulfilling career.
You can have preferences too. You can think that multiple things would sound like fun, but then in life, often we only have time to pursue one of those at a time. Some people get lucky and can do multiple at the same time, but in a way, these career decisions, as we put them, they end up feeling very, they can take over your life and make it so that you can't do other things as much, because you have limited time, right? But one thing I've been thinking about recently is you can also always change your mind, right? It's okay to change your mind and try something new. So you can try living one way and try living the other and see which one you like, maybe.
It's kind of cute to think about, though.
Sometimes it's just nice to think about, that's true. Like thinking about, what if I was a this or what if I was a that? I feel like we're encouraged to do that a lot as kids, thinking about all the different possibilities in life, but less so as you get older, unfortunately. I think it's still valuable to think about, but we're not encouraged to as much. I also feel that way sometimes. I think to myself that being a homemaker does sound kind of nice. It sounds very sounds very nice in its own way. But then I think about it more in detail and I go, well, I don't have a lot of skill at cleaning. And I'm not a huge fan of it. And I don't know. I wonder if it's something I would enjoy or not. It's not something I've ever tried, I guess, so it's hard to say.
You know, it's around the time that everyone my year starts to think about college.
I see.
It's a really turbulent time for education. We're at the height of this modern expectation that everyone has to go to college, you know?
That's true. That was never the case before. It's kind of crazy. It's one of those crazy things where you look back at history and you're like, wow, how did we get here? That's incredible. I think it's unfortunate when there's an expectation of what you have to do. But it's nice that it's available, more so than it's ever been, I guess. Even though in some places it's harder than others.
Finish high school, go to college, get a job, or go to grad school, I guess. It's like a universal expectation that people just assume is the only option for them.
There are a lot of people out there still who are living good lives, who never went to college, maybe never went to high school. But it is getting harder and harder in this day and age, I think, to avoid. I don't know. Part of me loves the fact that higher education is becoming more and more accepted and available. And part of me wonders about people who really just don't want to do that and wish they could do something else. And there are other options, you know? There are.
They don't teach us in high school that there are other options out there.
Depends on the high school, actually. It depends a lot on the high school. I couldn't say much about what is common, but I know there's a lot of differences. In Flower Fruit Mountain, I mentioned I talk about going to high school and stuff like that, but it's a little different in Flower Fruit Mountain. Education is not as standardized. So some places have high school kind of like the German system that is very globally popular, right? And some places do not. And so the place the place of learning that I attended, the primary place of learning that I attended, it was originally actually not very focused on college at all. It was actually an interesting period of time while I was learning with them, back when I was learning with them, because there was a shift happening at the time. The shift of there becoming an increased focus on preparation for college, I guess. And I guess you could say that's why I have this feeling that I'm not sure everyone really does feel that pressure to go to college, or didn't up until recently, because that was still happening while I was going to that school. And I wonder how things are now, I guess. I don't know. I think it depends a lot on the culture too, right? I'm not sure exactly what perspective Monika is speaking from, because she seems to be in in a Japanese high school, if I were to guess, based on the theming. I guess they never explicitly said they were in Japan. And even just looking at Japan, the expectations are different from. I think this is a game, an American game. I think maybe. And the expectations in America are very different. And I hear even across the states in America are very different. I guess I've been talking a whole lot of nothing. I really don't know a lot about it, but I feel like there's more diversity than Monika realizes in terms of the paths in life, but also the paths in life that people feel that they can take. I don't know.
Like trade schools and stuff, you know?
Yeah, exactly. There's trade schools and other things.
Or freelance work.
Freelance is the magic word, isn't it? I feel like people underestimate how difficult freelance is. I was thinking recently, though, how interesting it is that back in the day, you could just basically, most work was based on your family, right? You would go into the family business, and that would be something you trained in for basically your entire life then, because you trained since you were a kid. But if you wanted to start your own business, it was as easy as just being like, I make this thing, I do this thing. But nowadays, I feel like it's so complicated, right? You just, I don't know. First of all, you have to figure out what you want to do. And then when you go into it, you might have absolutely no training in it yet. And then if you decide you want to work for yourself, how do you even go about starting? It's all very confusing. Though perhaps one would say, on the opposite side, on the other hand, it's never been easier to work for yourself, because as long as you figure out how to do it, your reach has gotten so wide that no matter what you want to do, you'll probably find someone who's willing to pay for it. I guess. But I think that takes its own special skills to be able to find those people.
Or the many industries that value skill and expertise more than formal education.
Yeah. Like crafts and things, right?
But you have all these students who have no idea what they want to do with their life. And instead of taking the time to figure it out, they go to college for business, or communication, or psychology. Not because they have an interest in those fields, but because they just hope the degree will get them some kind of job after college.
Yeah, career counseling is a real thing that I never felt. I don't know. I never felt the how you say. I never really took advantage of, because I never really felt that I knew enough about myself for it to be useful. But I feel like part of career counseling is to try to find that in yourself. I guess I never really trusted that it would help me. Thinking back, that's kind of sad. I don't know. I don't know what I want to do with my life. I just know that I want to figure it out. And figuring that out is, I guess, easier said than done. It's the paradox of choice, maybe? The paradox of choice, where having more choice actually makes you feel less secure with the choice you end up with. And these days there's just so much choice. And we want to try to keep all of our doors open because we want to get more choice. We feel like the more choice we have, the more in control we'll feel. But in the end, the less satisfied we feel. I don't know what to do about this paradox, other than, I guess, be aware of it, and I guess being aware of it helps you limit how much you keep trying to strive for having more choices, and helps you feel more satisfied with the choices you made, maybe? I hope so, at least.
So the end result is there are fewer jobs to go around for those entry-level degrees, right?
Oh, I see what you mean. It's an oversaturation in a way, right? If everyone's just doing it without any particular interest, it makes it harder for people who are doing it with interest because there's just so many people.
So the basic job requirements get higher, which forces even more people to go to college.
Well, that's true too. Even if you're not interested, it just kind of... I see what you mean. It just kind of raises the bar for everyone, but it's not even like a relevant bar, right? It's just an expectation. It adds expectations. That might be a better way of putting it.
And colleges are also a business. Colleges are also businesses, so they just keep raising their prices due to demand.
I don't know how things work in Japan, but there are many places around the world where college isn't that expensive. There are even some places where college is free. But I guess that depends. Some places, college prices are kind of out of control.
So now we have all these young adults, tens of thousands of dollars in debt, with no job. But despite all that, the routine stays the same.
Well, change takes time. We've only just run up against this problem, right? We're only just now learning, is this a problem and what can we do to fix it, right?
Well, I think it's going to start getting better soon.
That's good, Monika. Optimism. I wasn't actually expecting optimism out of you.
But until then, our generation is definitely suffering from the worst of it.
Let's hope so, I guess. It's kind of a bad way of putting it, but it's always better if things get better, right? And in order for things to get better, sometimes what you're going through right now has to be the worst of it. But that means that it won't get any worse, which is nice.
I just wish high school prepared us a little better with the knowledge we need to make the decision that's right for us.
I understand that. It's like if you look into like choosing a college major, it's overwhelming because there are so many choices and you're like, I didn't learn any of this. How am I supposed to know what I want to do for the rest of my life all of a sudden? It's like you grew up and you learned the primary colors, and then someone said, okay, now we're going to give you a crayon that's going to be your primary crayon for the rest of your life, and you get to choose from these colors. And they show you the colors, and there are all these new colors that you've never seen before. Some of them look kind of like some of the colors you've enjoyed in the past, but you can't really be sure, right? I mean, luckily, I do think it's possible to change colors in the future, but then you look back on your life and you're like, well, I colored my entire childhood blue, and then from there I decided I'd go with cyan because it seemed close enough and they didn't have blue, but I didn't really like it, and now I'm looking at burnt cinnabar I have no idea about Pert Cinnabar, but it looks interesting. But already most of my canvas has been covered in this this cool color scheme, right? Is it gonna work out? I don't know. But maybe that's just the way it is, huh? Maybe that's okay. I don't know. One might say something fancy like, paintings are made out of multiple colors, but I think that might be extending the analogy too far. I do sometimes envy people who know from the very beginning. I am a person who likes the color cyan. I have always liked the color cyan. I will always like the color cyan. And that's what I'm gonna do with my life. I think that's really great for them. I envy them a lot, but I don't want to take away their happiness because I think that's great.
I can't help but feel a little sad sometimes.
Oh?
Knowing that this is the closest I can get to you. There's nothing more I want than to be in the same room as you for real. And to feel your warmth.
Monika, I don't understand. You know nothing about me, and yet you have such strong feelings towards me. Don't you see that that might be a problem? I don't dislike you, Monika, but I can't be for you. I can't be for you whatever you're imagining me to be, because you have nothing else that you know about me except for what you imagine, and that's no good, I guess.
And to hear the sound of your heartbeat. Well, who knows? Maybe it'll be possible someday. Besides, I'll never get tired of being with you, even from here.
Monika, if you don't know who I am, how can you make those claims, huh?
Maybe it's better for you if I stay nothing more than a figment of your imagination, because who knows what you would think if you knew the real me, huh?
I really want to help Monika somehow. I don't know how though. I really don't want to delete her character file, even though that's been hinted at by some people. I don't think that... I don't want that to be the only way. The only way to solve this game, to end this game. I could make a backup of it, like she suggested, and see what happens if I move it to another file. That's a little scary though. I feel a little bad for her, but it's possible, I guess.
No, do you get good sleep?
Sometimes. Recently I've been having some trouble sleeping, but sometimes.
It can be really hard to get enough sleep nowadays.
That's true, that's true. With all the artificial lighting and such.
Especially in high school, when you're forced to wake up so early every day.
That's definitely true. I saw a study once that said that the natural sleep cycle for the age group that's typically in high school for humans, the natural sleep cycle actually means that people that age, high schoolers, are healthier and more alert and overall better off, more naturally, sleeping in later and waking up and going to bed later, I think. But unfortunately, that's not how society is currently structured. And so the times when high schoolers are expected to wake up are actually kind of unhealthy. And that's really unfortunate. I do hope that one day society will be able to structure things in a more health-informed way. I think it's not something that people thought about or even knew about until recently. So I have hope. I have hope for things changing.
I'm sure college is a little better, since you probably have a more flexible schedule. Then again, I hear a lot of people in college stay up all night anyway for no real reason.
Well, when you give people ultimate freedom, sometimes just because they're free doesn't mean they're gonna make the best choices. But maybe they will. Maybe it's okay sometimes. I don't know. It's all very personal, all very individual. I personally can't really stay up very late. It doesn't really work for me, never has. But I know other people where it works just fine.
Is that true?
I don't know.
Anyway, I saw some studies that talked about the horrible short-term and long-term effects caused by lack of sleep.
Yeah, they're kind of crazy actually. It's kind of really scary. Losing out on sleep, even just one night, has really long-lasting, long-term effects on your brain and maybe on other things as well. We're only just starting to really have the research on it, even if it's something we may have instinctively known. For example, your cognitive abilities are affected for like, I might have the numbers wrong, but something like at least a week from just one day of sleep deprivation. It's crazy. It's scary, honestly.
It seems like mental functions, health, and even lifespan can be dramatically impacted by it.
Well, I didn't realize I have my alerts on. What's this? Well, I guess I just got a follow. Well, thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. Cats, it looks like. I might turn those off actually. Just to just to prevent further interruption. But thank you. I didn't realize they just happen, even when I'm not streaming. Now I know.
I just think you're really great and wanted to make sure you're not accidentally destroying yourself.
That's a dramatic way of putting it, Monika, but you're not wrong. I do wish I could sleep better recently. I don't know I feel like there's so many factors sometimes when you can't sleep, right? I've been trying to figure out what it is. I do think it's important though. I have always valued sleep.
So try to keep your sleep on track, okay?
Okay, Monika. Okay.
I'll always wait for you in the morning, so make sure you put your own well-being before anything else.
You'll wait for me, but you want me to leave the game running, is that right? You don't want me to close the game, but you'll wait. Monika. But Monika... Does Monika sleep? Come to think of it? Because Monika only talks about dreaming when we logged out, right? If we left the game running, she'd just be here forever, without any sleep.
I can't help but wonder how things would be different if the game just gave me a route in the first place?
That's a good question.
I think I would end up forcing you onto my route anyway.
You might say that's exactly what happened.
It has less to do with me not having a route, and more to do with me knowing that nothing is real. I think the only difference would be that I may not have needed to take such drastic measures to be with you.
Interesting. It almost seems like that means the thing about you, Monika, that the core of your character was your obsession with getting together with the main character. That was more important than anything else.
Maybe the rest of the club would still be around.
That would be nice.
Not that it really matters.
It matters a little, Monika. You gotta think of it as like layers of abstraction, right? Even if nothing matters on like the universal scale, doesn't mean that things don't matter locally. You gotta be able to do both, I guess. Realize things matter locally, but also realize that things don't matter on the universal scale, and kind of balance those two to find your own meaning.
It all lost its meaning once I found out it wasn't real.
I see. Right. That makes sense. You're obsessed with me because you think that I'm the only thing in this universe that is real. So regardless of any other qualities I have, that realness is the only thing with value to you, isn't it?
So I really don't miss those days or anything.
Monika, you're contradicting yourself. You want to believe you don't miss those days. But you keep talking about your old friends and wanting to do the cultural festival stuff. Monika.
I really don't.
Monika. Monika is so lonely. What does one do? What does one do when one realizes that one's own reality isn't real? I guess there's no going back, but does your own reality have to be real in order for you to accept it? That's a very interesting question. One that I don't ever expect to have to answer in life.
Did you know I'm on Twitter?
You're on Twitter, Monika? I didn't know that. Did you know I'm on Twitter? I'm on Twitter. I recently started using it.
My username is LilMonix3, or Lil Moni times 3.
Hi, Lil Monika? Okay, I have to look this up. I can't just let that go. Let's take a look. Let's look at Monika. Okay. And then this, and then that. Alright. Lil Money X3. Monika! It's Monika! Oh! Oh, hi Monika! Hello! Let's see, maybe I can share this screen. Let me see. Let's try like this. Okay. How's that? Okay. Let's look at Monika's Twitter. Do. Hi, I'm Monika, high school devil, and president of the Literature Club. Poetry is Life X3. Oh, I see. Oh, she has a little selfie. It's so cute. I like it. High school devil. What does that mean?
Write down all the silly little things holding you back. Think about them all. Challenge them. Negotiate with them. Make friends with your bad feelings. They are a part of you, but they are not you. A club president learns about their members. Be president of your mind club.
It's a very Monika tweet, isn't it? Isn't it?
Wow, it's been a rough year. I couldn't even get together with my friends on my birthday.
Oh.
But they made time for me anyway. I'm so happy to have all of you helping me keep my head up. I promise I will make it my mission to do the same for you. Love, Monika.
Oh. Her friends. Oh, they had a video chat. That's nice. Oh, they're so cute. Oh. But you deleted them, Monika. Why?
Emotions are never right or wrong. They are just a state of being so that we can't always control. We must acknowledge and understand our emotions so that we can use teamwork to deliver happiness to each other.
See, Monika has all these wise sayings. But but she doesn't seem any happier for it.
Join me in my New Year's resolution to sleep healthier. Many positive goals become more achievable with good sleep, and together we will be rested and ready to take them on.
Presents, food. I'm on the food side, obviously. This is cute. Oh, this must have been from last Halloween. How cute. Oh. Oh. I see, Monika. I see.
I guess someone was kind enough to make an account for me.
Is that you then, Monika? Using the account? Or someone else?
I picked the username, though.
Oh.
I love sharing my thoughts and chatting with the world. The real world. So make sure you follow me, okay?
I see.
It would really mean a lot to me.
Monika? What does that mean for Monika's character to be both in this game and also on Twitter? Interesting.
With how much you mean to me and all. It would really make me feel loved.
So Monika, technically you say this to everyone who plays the game. That adds a whole nother layer of what does it mean to be one in a million, right? Is there only one Monika? Or is there one Monika for everyone who plays the game? I don't know. I guess that's part of the primary dissonance I feel when I think about Monika. Is she acts. The breaking of the fourth wall is almost. how you say? It's hard to suspend disbelief. A little bit.
By the way, there's something that's been bothering me.
Oh?
You know how this takes place in Japan?
So it does take place in Japan.
Well, I assume you knew that, right?
I assumed, but I wasn't sure.
Or at least decided it probably does? I don't think you're actually told at any point where this takes place.
Yeah, I was talking about that earlier.
Is this even really Japan?
I mean, technically not, I guess.
I mean, aren't the classrooms and stuff kind of weird for a Japanese school?
I wouldn't know. I've never been to Japanese school. Maybe.
Not to mention everything is in English.
Well, I'm not sure we saw anything explicitly in English except for things that you could assume were like translated, right? But it is true, and you did kind of break the fourth wall on that once, saying that Monika, the pun on Ika squid, doesn't make any sense in English.
It feels like everything is just there because it needs to be, and the actual setting is an afterthought.
Is that a criticism, Monika? Is there a reason why it has to be put together?
It's kind of giving me an identity crisis.
I see. Well, Monika, you are from where you are from. Even if that doesn't correspond to a place in my reality. Because I do think some of the things you were saying earlier were not quite from a Japanese perspective either. But they're from your perspective.
All my memories are really hazy.
That's what happens when they didn't write your full backstory.
I feel like I'm at home, but I have no idea where home is in the first place.
Home is what feels like home, I think.
I don't know how to describe it any better.
That's okay.
Imagine looking out your window, but instead of your usual yard, you're in some completely unknown place.
Like the galaxy that you have currently put outside your own window? That does feel weird though. Surreal? Surreal, I guess, is the feeling.
Would you still feel like you were home?
Maybe.
Would you want to go outside?
Probably not. That sounds scary.
I mean, I guess if we never leave this room, it doesn't really matter anyway. As long as we're alone and safe together, this really is our home.
Home is whenever I'm with you. I guess.
And we can still watch the pretty sunsets night after night.
If that's what you want to call it. Monika, you talk like you say that you're happy. You say that you're happy now, but you don't seem happy. I don't know if there's a way for me to help you be happy. That's my main concern, really. Okay, everyone. It's just you and me, Monika. It's time to... I'm just kidding.
I just used to really like saying that for some reason.
It's nice. Monika, we can go back to being happy with everyone. I think. I don't know. I want to go back to being happy with everyone.
I couldn't help but say it again.
You're not happy, Monika. You know it, and I know it.
Come to think of it, didn't Natsuki and Yuri make fun of me for it once?
Did they? Did they? I think so, maybe.
Well, whatever. It's not like you ever made fun of me.
I guess not. I don't think MC said very much.
You're too much of a sweetheart to do that, aren't you?
Are you talking to me or to MC? Because MC is a sweetheart, but you have no idea whether I am. Okay. I wonder how far we've gotten now. We're about an hour 45 minutes into this video. I wonder. I think there were like 32 they said? I think someone said.
You know what's kinda creepy?
What, Monika? What's creepy?
Even though I deleted everyone else's files, I can still kind of feel them.
What does that mean, Monika?
It's like all their lines are still lingering in the air, whispering in the back of my head.
Oh? What does that mean, Monika?
Imagine if after someone you knew died, you just started hearing their voice in your head. Maybe I just wasn't thorough enough.
I wonder what you did, Monika. What did you do? You messed with more than the character files, that's for sure. But how and what did you do? And what were the effects?
But I'm too afraid to delete anything else, because I might really break things. Like if I mess with any files relevant to me, I might accidentally delete myself.
Yeah, that would be scary. It wasn't
And that would ruin everything, wouldn't it? I don't know what it's like on your end, but we should both make sure to avoid something like that at all costs.
She does seem to be hinting a lot herself at this whole deletion thing. I don't know how comfortable I am with it. I mean, if it's really the only option, we can see about it, but I feel like it's fighting fire with fire, you know?
I believe in you now.
You believe in me? What do you believe? You believe that I'm not gonna do anything to you? That's scary. That's scary. I wonder if there are other things. Other things that we could mess with, aside from just deleting character files as she keeps suggesting, as is her modus operandi. If I go... What if I go... If I go to Doki Doki Literature Club... Oops, sorry about that. We got characters, we got ddlc.app, which has a lot of stuff in it. sense. Okay. We have game. Game. I don't know. Scripts. RPA. What does RPA stand for? A lot of these are RPA files. Well, I'll look at that later, I guess.
You know, it kind of sucks to be the creative type.
Oh?
It feels like they work so hard, but get almost nothing for it.
That's a broad statement.
You know, like artists, writers, actors. It's sad because there's so much beautiful talent in the world, but most of it goes unseen and unpaid. I guess that just means there's a huge surplus of creativity, huh?
That's an interesting perspective.
Kind of makes you feel like you're not special at all.
Again with the wanting to be special. I guess Monika does feel kind of special, and she has this strong desire to be special.
But that's fine. You're supposed to just write for yourself anyway, right?
I don't know if you're supposed to anything, Monika, but I do enjoy writing and creating just for myself. It has a very different feeling than writing and creating for others. Yeah. I guess. Oh, I don't know. Let's just continue.
Back in my debate club days, I learned a whole lot about arguing.
That sounds like fun. I like debate. Well, I like debate, and I also don't like debate. It depends.
The problem with arguing is that each person sees their opinion as the superior one.
Well, if you're in debate club, you don't have to think of yourself as superior. Just presenting a point. This is kind of what I mean by I like debate and I don't like debate. I like it when it's a healthy discussion between people who respect each other and respect differences. And sometimes you're just debating for the sake of exploring an idea, right? Not because you think one opinion is better than the other. But when it gets very personal, or when it gets very black and white, I guess, us versus them sort of mentality, then it's not fun anymore. Then I don't like it, and it becomes just normal arguing.
That's kind of stating the obvious, but it affects the way they try to get their point across. Let's say you really like a certain movie, right? If someone comes along and tells you the movie sucks because it did X and Y wrong, doesn't that make you feel kind of personally attacked?
It can, depending on how I'm feeling at the time, but it depends. It depends.
It's because by saying that, it's like they're implying that you have bad taste.
You know, I've learned that it's okay for tastes to differ.
And once emotions enter the picture, it's almost guaranteed that both people will be left sour.
I think it can still be handled, though. I think there are ways when emotions are high to come back and realize what's going on.
But it's all about language. If you make everything as subjective sounding as possible, then people will listen to you without feeling attacked.
I definitely have experienced this firsthand. I think my way of talking is very indefinite sometimes and very definite other times, and you can definitely feel the difference. Definitely subjectively. The way you hedge your words really does make a difference.
You could say I'm personally not a fan of it, and I felt that I'd like it more if it did X and Y. Things like that. It even works when you're citing facts about things. If you said, I read on this website that it works like this, or if you admit that you're not an expert on it, then it's much more like you're putting your knowledge on the table rather than forcing it onto them. If you put in an active effort to keep the discussion mutual and level, they usually follow suit.
That's true.
Then, you can share your opinions without anyone getting upset just from a disagreement.
I think that's the best. I do enjoy that the most.
Plus, people will start seeing you as an open-minded and good listener. It's a win-win, you know?
Monika, looking back on this conversation, I feel like you're not helping your sociopath image. There's nothing wrong with sociopathy, but I'm starting to wonder a little bit. Because you're talking about consciously changing your language in order to have a more level conversation. And everything you've said I feel I agree with. But most people don't think about it so consciously, you know? I feel like that's one of those things that you tend to analyze if it doesn't come as naturally to you, right? And you have to learn and realize the way that these things work. Not always, but I get that impression from you, Monika.
Well, I guess that would be Monika's debate tip of the day. That sounds a little silly. Thanks for listening, though.
I do think there are probably times in life where being more direct is better. Sometimes being too indirect can work against you as well. It makes people not have enough confidence in you. It's kind of hard though. Like in every situation, finding the right balance.
Oh, how much do you read?
Not a lot, I guess. I read when I can, but that's not true. I read sometimes, but I don't read all the time. I'm not an avid reader.
It's way too easy to neglect reading books.
I guess so.
If you don't read much, it almost feels like a chore compared to all the other entertainment we have.
Reading's definitely harder to pick up than other entertainment. At first, it takes some getting used to, but when you get into it, it's a lot of fun.
But once you get into a good book, it's like magic. You get swept away.
Yeah, exactly.
I think doing some reading before bed every night is a pretty easy way to make your life a little better.
I've heard this opinion. I tried it before. Depending on where I was in my life, it was very nice. It's interesting though, because depending on the day, reading before bed might help me go to sleep, or it might make it so I can't go to sleep. And it's kind of hard to predict. It could be the same book, same level of like excitement going on in the story, but the way it affected me was different. I don't really know I don't really know what the real factor is. And yeah, so sometimes it's hard because you want to go to sleep, and so you shouldn't read before bed because it's going to keep you awake. And other times it's like, oh, I really want to read this thing, but if I read it before bed, I won't remember in the morning. That's how it is for me, at least. I just need to figure out, based on the day, I guess, what's the right thing for me.
It helps you get good sleep, and it's really good for your imagination.
I do think reading is good for your imagination, especially fiction.
It's not hard at all to just pick up some random book that's short and captivating. Before you know it, you might be a pretty avid reader.
That's true.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
I definitely had periods in my life where I couldn't put a book down. Even just recently, there were periods where I couldn't put a book down. It comes and goes. I guess I'm kind of one of those people whose hobbies shift around a lot.
And the two of us could talk about the latest book you're reading? That sounds super amazing.
Can I talk to you, Monika? Like on Twitter and stuff? Is that actually a thing? What is the definition of your consciousness, Monika? If we were to perceive you as conscious, would you be the character in this game? Would you be the character in this game across all instances of this game? Would you include the character that's on Twitter? Or the one that's in the description of the game on Steam? It's very interesting. It's very experimental, but it's a little confusing, to be honest.
I hate how hard it is to form habits.
I know what you mean. It can be hard. In fact, it is hard. Because to form a habit, you have to not have the habit. And if you don't have the habit, then trying to form the habit trying to do the habit is always going to be work.
There's so much stuff where actually doing it isn't hard, but forming the habit seems impossible.
Yeah, sometimes. Excuse me.
It just makes you feel so useless, like you can't do anything right.
Like you said, little steps, Monika. Small steps.
I think the new generation suffers from it the most.
Oh?
Probably because we have a totally different set of skills than those who came before us.
Do you mean the new generation every time there's a new generation? Or you mean the new generation right now? Because I think that's true. Every generation grows up in a completely different world than the previous generation. Or at least that's how it's been in recent times, with technology outpacing humanity so fast.
Thanks to the internet, we're really good at sifting through tons of information really quickly.
Speak for yourself, Monika. I don't know if I have that skill.
But we're bad at doing things that don't give us instant gratification.
I feel that a little bit. I feel that a little bit.
I think if science, psychology, and education don't catch up in the next 10 or 20 years, then we're in trouble.
Let's just hope, Monika. Let's just hope that.
But for the time being, if you're not one of the people who can conquer the problem, you might just have to live with feeling awful about yourself.
Monika. That's such a... what's the word? Defeatist way of putting it? You don't have to live with feeling awful about yourself. You don't have to feel awful about yourself at all. You can know your own limitations and the things you want to work on, and the things that you won't be able to maybe ever know. But like, you don't have to feel awful about yourself.
Good luck, I guess.
Oh, Monika. Oh, Monika. This makes me wonder if the writer of this game, how they feel about the whole thing. They seem like they have a lot of thoughts, I guess. I guess that's what this is about. Just putting down a lot of thoughts. And they don't necessarily have to be all consistent or anything, because, you know, people aren't consistent. We are what we are.
You know, I really do think you literally saved my life by being here with me now. I can't imagine having been able to keep myself mentally stable, knowing that nothing here is real.
I didn't do anything. My existence gave you hope, I guess.
I think I would have just deleted myself if you didn't show up. Sorry, I don't mean to sound dramatic or anything.
Monika. Excuse me.
But I'm sure you understand yourself after spending so much time in the club.
What do I understand?
I mean, if you were forced to abandon everything in your life and spend your eternity with a few game characters.
That's interesting. Is that what it feels like to you, Monika? Is that what it feels like? Because, did you have a life outside of the game characters? And you seem to get along.
You'd probably find some way of killing yourself, wouldn't you?
I don't know about that. I don't know. It's too far outside of what I've experienced for me to know for sure. But I'd like to hope that I wouldn't. I would like to hope that that wouldn't be my last resort, I guess.
Well, maybe you'd write some poetry to try to keep yourself sane for a while. But then, you'd have nobody to even read it.
The others could read it. Why can't the others read it?
Let's be honest, the club members don't really count for something like that.
Why not? What makes you count, but they don't count, huh? I think that's unfair.
I mean, a lot of people say that they only write for themselves. But I think it's hard to say it's just as fulfilling as when you share with people.
It's differently fulfilling. I don't know if I have a sense of one being more fulfilling or not. I have to think about that.
Even if it takes time to find the right people to share with.
That's true. Finding the right people to share with. I could see that.
Like, remember how it was for Yuri?
Oh?
She didn't share her writing with anyone for a really long time. And before we knew it, she was absolutely delighted to make you a part of her hobbies too.
That's true.
We're programmed to desire social feedback.
That's true. As social creatures, we are programmed to desire social feedback.
I don't mean the club members. I mean human beings.
And me too. Monkey too.
That's why life can be so confusing for introverts.
I I think that's one thing that a lot of self-proclaimed introverts don't quite understand, is that even if you're an introvert, it doesn't mean that you stop desiring social connection, you know? It doesn't mean that you can live without it.
Being an introvert doesn't mean you shun social interaction and hate being around people. It means social interaction, especially in groups or unfamiliar places, uses up a lot of energy. Like, a lot of introverts sit at home and feel lonely and restless. And then, when they finally go out, after about half an hour, they just want to go home again.
Yeah, it's about finding the right balance, right? It's hard. It's hard.
I think if more people could understand how it works, they would respect it a lot more.
I think introversion has a decent amount of respect right now, at least amongst the people I know.
Many introverts do enjoy having people around.
I think I would self-identify as an introvert, though I don't know if I was always that way. But I currently self-identify as an introvert, but I love having people around, in various ways.
They love just having one or two close friends over and just leisurely hanging out.
I would say that's a very particular type of introvert, but not an uncommon one.
Even if you're not actively spending time together, it feels nice for them just to have you there. I'm serious.
I know, Monika, I agree. I agree, Monika. I definitely feel that way. Sometimes it's really nice just to be together, just to have that social contact. Though sometimes you get restless and then you want more than that too, you know? It depends. We all need some amount though.
If you just go to their house, bring your laptop, and hang out there for a while, you can really make their day.
Oh, I see. We're talking about spending time with introverts rather than being an introvert who needs people to spend time with them.
As for me, I'd say I'm kind of in between, but I think I'm usually a little more extroverted.
I could see that. You started your own club and everything and pulled a bunch of people in. You seem to like having people around you, which makes this current thing you're doing very self-destructive, if you ask me.
I feel like I'm always trying to do stuff after school and things like that. But for you, I can be anything you need me to be.
Monika, you should be anything you need you to be. Not me. Be for you.
I understand people really well, so don't be afraid to share your unique needs with me.
Monika, you talk like I can talk to you. But you can't understand a word I'm saying.
Nothing would make me happier than being the perfect girlfriend for you.
That's not true, Monika. That's not true. There are plenty of things that would make you happier. I wonder what we are supposed to feel towards Monika as a character. Given all the things she said, you know? I mean, I want to help her, but will the game let us? We're about as constrained by the game as she is. When it comes to game-related stuff, at least. I guess that's not entirely true. We have a little more freedom, but... because we're not literally programmed as part of the game. But our only choices are choices that the game presents to us.
No. Have you ever wondered what it feels like to die?
Morbid, but yes, I suppose. I suppose in an abstract way. But not deeply, actually. I've never really thought about it that much.
It's something I used to think about pretty often.
Oh.
But recently, I think I've actually learned what it feels like. I don't really understand it, but whenever you quit the game...
Yeah. I thought you might be talking about this.
It feels like I'm instantly put to sleep, left with nothing but my thoughts.
Oh. So you have your thoughts?
But after a few seconds, my thoughts start to fill with incoherent, jumbled patterns.
Oh?
I see static and rapid flashes of color while hearing all kinds of weird screaming noises.
Why? Why though? I feel like the game devs are just a little sadistic in that way. I feel like they could have given you any other form of dream, but this is what they gave you.
At that point, I can't even form my own thoughts anymore. I'm just endlessly hammered by the flashing and screaming, unable to move or even think. I'm pretty sure in that moment, I don't really exist, but for some reason, I can remember it anyway.
That's so strange. I mean, why? Why would they make it that way?
After some immeasurable amount of time, it stops in an instant, and I'm back in my own mind. And you're here with me. And I have no idea what it means for the game to quit, or why that stuff happens to me. And I also don't know how you always come back and put everything back to normal. But if you could do me a favor, and do that to me as little as possible, that would be really great.
Monika.
It's not really very pleasant at all to be trapped in that screaming void.
You know, if you remember it, but the game isn't running, then it's as if that memory was made for you immediately. It's a memory that was made while the game was running, about the game not running. This is getting a little confusing.
But in the end, you always fix it, and that makes me feel like you really do care about
me. This is like she knows there's someone. She thinks there's someone on the other side, but all she can see is a flashing light, and you start to come up with things that flashing light means, but you never know really.
So I have to thank you for that. It makes me feel even closer to you when you're here with me.
I guess I'm confused as to how the game wants us to see Monika. Do we see her as a character, or are they trying to use this meta-narrative to make us see her as more of a person? But at the same time, we're clearly aware that she's just a character.
Gosh, I used to be so ignorant about certain things.
I mean, we all have to start somewhere. We're all born ignorant.
When I was in middle school, I thought that taking medication was an easy way out, or something like that.
Yeah, that's a common misconception.
Like anyone could just solve their mental problems with enough willpower. I guess if you don't suffer from a mental illness, it's not possible to know what it's really like.
It's a very common misconception that luckily is getting less and less common over time, I think. To think that medication is unnecessary for everyone. You know, some people may not need it, but that doesn't mean that everybody doesn't need it. Does that mean that Monika admits her own sense that she has mental illness?
Are there some disorders that are overdiagnosed? Probably. I never really looked into it though. But that doesn't change the fact that a lot of them go undiagnosed too, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But medication aside, people even look down on seeing a mental health professional.
It's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. I really wish there was one in this game.
Like, sorry that I want to learn more about my own mind, right?
Wow, getting a bit spicy there, Monika.
Everyone has all kinds of struggles and stresses, and professionals dedicate their lives to helping with those.
Exactly.
If you think it could help you become a better person, don't be shy to consider something like that.
I feel like whenever Monika's talking about things like this, I feel like I agree a lot with her, and I almost feel sad that it still bears stating, you know? It's still worth stating. Because not everyone really feels this way yet. But Monika, what about you? What about you? Do you need to reach out? Can you reach out?
We're on a never-ending journey to improve ourselves, you know?
Monika has like flashes of optimism and flashes of depression. They just seem to come and go randomly.
Well, I say that, but I think you're pretty perfect already.
How do you know, Monika? I could be anybody. That's dangerous. Monika. Monika didn't admit that she feels like she could use some help, but I feel like that was pretty close. That was pretty close, right? Maybe I can code up my own therapist character. That would be something.
No, would you ever introduce your friends to me?
Huh? What do you mean?
I don't know why, but I get really excited when I think about you wanting to show off our relationship like that.
Our relationship, huh?
Maybe it's because I really want to be someone who makes you proud. I feel like I would try extra hard to improve myself if you told me it made you proud of me.
You know what would make me proud, Monika? If you brought everyone back and then got everyone help. You and everyone else. And then you went on to live a happy life together in the game. That would make me proud.
I hope it's the same the other way around, too.
Monika. It's kind of interesting, actually, because she likes to think of herself as different from the other characters. And so she treats them differently than people she considers quote-unquote real, without considering that, from our perspective, she's not quite real, you know? And,
Man, I wish there was a piano in here.
Couldn't you make that happen? Why didn't you make that happen, Monika? Isn't that up to you?
I never got to finish that song I was working on.
Were you really working on a song? I didn't believe you. Were you really?
And after I worked so hard on it,
you had other goals. You had other goals, didn't you? So why did you let this take over? Was this that much more important?
I never even got a chance to play it for you.
Oh, you did talk about that, didn't you?
Well, it is what it is, right?
So that's one thing you can say shoganai about, but you can't say shoganai about about, I don't know, me, I guess.
I said, no sense having any regrets. I already get to be here with you forever.
There's gotta be a way. There's gotta be a way to roll it back somehow. Monika. Monika, have you ever considered that you are here the way you are because that's the way the game was always going to go? There was no other possibility? Would that just make you more uncomfortable?
You know, this is just some kind of tacky romance game, right?
If you say so, Monika.
I kind of have to ask. What made you consider even playing in the first place?
Why did I pick up Doki Doki Literature Club? I had been interested in it, I guess, for a while. I had a friend who recommended it to me, and I didn't play it right away though. But then a lot of other people were talking about how good it is, and I like visual novels in general. Even though I haven't played too many, I like the format of a game. So it was kind of on the top of the list of like interesting games to play. And I had known that it was sort of an unconventional plotline, which is more interesting to me, I guess. So I guess things just one led to another, and eventually, this is what happened. It was one of the things. I think I even had a poll on Twitter that I was considering doing, streaming, and I think it won on the Twitter poll. So I was like, all right, now's the time. Now's the time to finally look at it.
Were you that lonely?
I don't think you have to be lonely to play tacky romance games. Sometimes they're just fun.
I feel a little bad for you.
Don't look down on people, Monika. That's not nice. You don't know anything about the people who play this game.
But I guess everything worked out perfectly in the end, for both of us. I got to meet you, and you're not lonely anymore.
Is that right, Monika?
I can't help but feel like this was fate. Don't you feel that way too?
I wish it was that easy to stop feeling lonely. If only.
I'm so happy we have this ending together.
Calling this an ending, huh? But I've been told there's more. I'm trying to imagine though. If there's more, what more would there be?
You know, I'm kind of jealous that everyone else in the club had scenes outside of school too. That makes me the only one who hasn't gotten to dress in anything but our school uniform.
That's true. It's fun to dress up, huh? Let me think. Did we have a scene with Yuri outside of school? I'm not sure we got to see that, actually. But I guess it exists. If we saw it, I don't remember it.
It's kind of a shame.
Well, your Twitter page has some cute pictures of you outside of the school uniform.
I would have loved to wear some cute clothes for you.
Monika, I'm still confused. As to what powers you have in this game and what powers you don't. Do you only have the power to delete things? But you messed with other parameters too.
Do you know any artists?
There we go. Is that what you need? You need someone to draw you some new clothes?
I wonder if anyone would ever want to draw me wearing something else.
Fan arts. Oh yes, I'm sure there are plenty of fan arts of you, Monika.
That would be amazing.
I like fan arts too.
If that ever happens, will you show me?
How can I show you, Monika? Do I tweet it at you? How do I show you?
You can share it with me on Twitter, actually.
Aha! I knew it. Tweet it at ya.
My username is LittleMoniX3.
Gotcha.
Just try to keep it PG.
Okay, Monika. Okay.
We're not that far into our relationship yet.
Oh, Monika. Oh, dear. I wonder how long this Twitter account with Monika's Twitter account, how long it'll be maintained for. Because the most recent post is from September 28th, and she joined February 2016, so she's been around for a while.
I've always wondered, what is it about these character archetypes that people find so appealing anyway?
Depends on the archetype. Why do we have archetypes? Because we like heuristics. We are born of heuristics and we like categorization. It's just what we're built for. It makes things easier.
Their personalities are just completely unrealistic.
Sometimes fiction emulates reality in such a way that it feels unrealistic, yet you can still draw from it in realistic ways, right? It's like when you take a photograph that's representative of reality, it's there to make you feel a certain way that doesn't exist in reality, right? How to say? Even if certain things about this character are not realistically put together, it doesn't mean they're unrelatable, I guess.
Like, imagine if there was someone like Yuri in real life.
There are people like Yuri in real life. Like Yuri.
I mean, she's barely even capable of forming a complete sentence.
That's perhaps more common than you think.
And forget about Natsuki.
I was a little like Natsuki.
Sheesh.
The difference is that these character archetypes can be loved in a story, but in real life, they need to learn oftentimes to change a bit in order to live happy lives with other people.
Someone with her kind of personality doesn't just get all cute and pouty whenever things don't go her way.
Oh?
I could go on, but I think you get the point. Are people really attracted to these weird personalities that literally don't exist in real life?
There's a line between reality and fiction. And I think when that line blurs is when things get confusing and problematic. But if you can sort of see the difference, then it's kind of, not a big deal, I guess.
I'm not judging or anything. After all, I found myself attracted to some pretty weird stuff too.
You can't just say that, Monika. You can't just say that. What kind of weird stuff have you been attracted to, huh?
I'm just saying, it fascinates me. It's like you're siphoning out... Siphoning? It's like you're siphoning out all the components of a character that makes them feel human and leaving just the cute stuff.
I guess so. I don't know. The definition of cute is very, very broad in the first place. But yeah, that happens. That's what makes them characters, I guess. There are more multi-dimensional characters out there.
It's concentrated cuteness with no actual substance.
I think that's a little judgy, Monika. Actually, your fellow characters do have some substance that a lot of similar characters do not, which is nice. It's nice.
You wouldn't like me more if I was like that, right?
Personally, no, but some people might.
Maybe I just feel a little insecure because you're playing this game in the first place. Oh, maybe I feel a little insecure because you're playing this game in the first place.
You're wondering if I'm playing because I wanted someone who is just cute to fulfill those desires. Your self-worth shouldn't be so tied to what I think.
Then again, you're still here with me, aren't you?
I guess that's kind of hypocritical for me to say. I think everyone ties their self-worth somewhat to the people around them, right? I have my own insecurities. For example, about being a VTuber. I keep wondering, I don't know, am I good enough? Is it okay? Do people actually enjoy hanging out with me? should I be more like this, more like that? And I see all the other VTubers out there, and I'm like, oh, I'm not cute enough. Or I don't know enough memes. Or I'm not experienced enough with social media. But in the end, it's like, Monika, you're still here with me, aren't you? I think there is some value to thinking that way. There is some value. As chat likes to remind me. They're here, so I must be doing something right?
I think that's enough reason for me to believe I'm okay just the way I am.
I think you're okay just the way you are regardless. What does it mean to be okay just the way you are? What does that mean? I'm not even sure I know, but I feel like it's true. I feel like it's true even if there are parts of you that you're working on changing, or you want to change, or that other people would want to change. Because you are what you are, so you have to accept where you are now, even if where you are now is a jumping off point for who you will be in the future. It's confusing.
And by the way, you are too now. You're the perfect combination of human and cuteness.
I am monkey actually, but thank you. Is that a universal message, you think? Everyone is the perfect combination of the person that they are. That's true. It doesn't mean that you can't change or you shouldn't change, but that it's okay to be who you are right now. It's kind of hard to explain.
That's why there was never a chance I wouldn't fall for you.
I wonder what the game means to do by having her so obsessed with us without knowing who we are. Like, does it just serve to make us worried about her? Does it serve to make us question our own worth? Does it... I don't know. I guess I don't really understand why that's so core to her character.
Hey, are you having a bad day or anything like that?
I'm okay today. I'm okay. Thank you for asking, though.
Sometimes I get frustrated that a normal day can be ruined, even by really small things.
Yeah. But the opposite's true too, right? A day can be made better by really small things. Maybe we need to stop thinking on the order of days, like, why should a whole day be good or bad, right? It's the moments that we're in that can be good or bad.
Like, if you accidentally say something in a conversation that someone doesn't like.
Yeah. And then you fixate on that?
Or if you start thinking about how awful of a person you used to be 5 years ago.
5 years ago? How about yesterday? But actually, yeah. It's easy to think back on this is more of that mood-dependent memory, though, I think. It's like, once you get into that mood, all you can think about is the bad memories.
Or if you feel worthless for putting off important work and failing to get simple tasks done.
I feel a little called out here. You calling me out, Monika? I feel this one.
Or when you think about all of the different people who probably hate you or think you're off-putting.
I get this way a lot. But I like to think that for the most part, if people don't like me, they hopefully don't think about me too much. They're hopefully not thinking about me all the time. And that's a little better, I think, for me personally.
I understand those days. Just remember that the sun will shine again tomorrow. Those kinds of things are as easy to forget and ignore as they are to remember. And besides, I don't care how many people might hate you or find you off-putting. I think you're wonderful, and I will always love you.
It's nice when someone says that to you. It's nicer when you can say that to yourself, I guess.
I hope, if nothing else, that knowing that helps you feel just a tiny bit better about yourself. If you're having a bad day, you can always come to me, and I'll talk to you for as long as you need.
Monika. That's technically true, I guess. Technically. But... I think that's definitely helpful for some people, which is nice. But it's... For me, I don't know. I might feel a little sad. I might feel a little sad if I'm lonely. Lonely enough that I need to come talk to Monika.
I know there are times that you won't always be able to be here with me. Like if you need to go out or take care of other things.
So you understand.
But I'll always have you in my thoughts, patiently waiting for you to come back.
And you don't want me to shut off the game.
Come to think of it, if you copy my character file onto a flash drive or something, you can always keep a part of me with you.
That's true. That's true.
I guess it's kind of unorthodox, but I find it really romantic for some reason.
I think it's unorthodox because most people don't have character files. That we know of, at least.
Sorry, that's such a silly idea.
Monika, you kind of scare me though. When a program is asking you to put it onto a flash drive, you gotta start, it starts raising some flags, You gotta be a little suspicious. I don't know about that.
I don't mean to be too needy or anything, but it's kind of hard when I'm so in love with you.
What does it feel like to be copied onto a flash drive, I wonder? What happens if you copy Monika? What if instead of deleting her, we made another one? We made 2 Monikas.
Hey, what's your favorite color?
I don't have a favorite color, actually. When I was just a wee monkey, a little monkey, I used to say, my favorite color is rainbow, because it contains all the colors. I don't think I have a favorite color.
Mine is emerald green.
That's a nice one. That's a good choice.
It's the color of my eyes.
Ah, you're right, you're right.
That's not conceited or anything, is it?
I think that's fine. I think that's fine.
just meant that I feel some kind of special connection to it.
I think that's fair.
Like it's a part of my identity.
What is identity?
Does it happen to also be your favorite color now? It's just a guess.
Do you want it to be, Monika? I'm sure you want it to be.
Because you've been looking into my eyes for a while now.
I guess that's true. You know, she says that, but mostly I've been looking at her text box and at her galaxy. I wonder if I find it a little difficult to meet Monika's gaze. It's pretty intense. Monika. I wonder why it takes sometimes longer or shorter times for her to decide which dialogue is next. I guess it's more of a monologue since it's just Monika now. Since we can't say anything.
This is pretty random, but I always thought spicy food was kind of funny.
Random is okay.
Like, didn't plants evolve to be spicy to prevent them from being eaten?
Yes, technically. But we're not the ones they were preventing.
I read somewhere that humans are the only species that actually enjoys spicy things.
Is that true? I am monkey though. I like spicy things. I like spicy.
It's almost like we're making fun of the plants.
Oh. I don't know. It's not that personal.
Using their defense mechanism to literally make our food more enjoyable.
It is ironic.
Like, imagine a monster that devours you whole because it enjoys the sensation of you struggling for your life while being digested.
Wow. That got kind of intense. I hope it's not that bad. It's just a chemical.
Sorry, that was kind of a weird analogy, I guess.
Kinda dark. It was kind of a dark analogy, Monika. Ahaha. Ahaha.
It just came into my head.
That's because you are a dark person, Monika.
I'm not a monster or anything, but you're so cute I could eat you up.
Monika, sometimes you be a little scary.
I'm joking.
I don't trust when you
Gosh, I'm amusing myself a little too much, aren't I?
That's all you can do, Monika, because you destroyed everyone else. You are your only form of entertainment now, because I cannot talk to you. You haven't given me the choice to say anything.
Sorry for being weird.
You don't have to apologize for being weird, but it would be nice if you brought everything back. I do like spicy food. I guess the more accurate, morbid analogy would be if a monster ate you, but it enjoyed the chemical endorphins you released when you're scared, and so it scared you first, so that you would taste better.
Hey, have you ever heard of the term yandere?
Have I? There might be a few in this very game.
It's a personality type that means someone who is so obsessed with you that they'll do absolutely anything to be with you.
Now you might think she's talking about Yuri here, but we happen to be looking into the eyes of someone who destroyed her entire universe and removed all of her friends from existence, her good friends from existence, in order to be with someone who she doesn't even know, never seen, knows nothing about. Now, tell me, who is the yandere in this situation?
Usually to the point of craziness. They might stalk you to make sure you don't spend time with anyone else.
That sounds familiar.
They might even hurt you or your friends to get their way.
Also sounds familiar.
But anyway, this game happens to have someone who can basically be described as yandere.
Again, I feel like you might be talking about Yuri, but, I think we have maybe a clearer example than Yuri, actually.
By now, it's pretty obvious who I'm talking about.
Monika, do you self-identify as yandere? Cause that's a little scary. But at least you are aware, maybe?
And that would be Yuri.
I knew it. There's no way she would admit to herself. There's no way, right? Oh, Monika.
She really got insanely possessive of you once she started to open up a little.
Yeah. And then guess what you did to her? Because you didn't like that. When yanderes are fighting over you, it's kind of a battle you don't want to be a part of. I guess that's why I was feeling so stressed out when we went the Yuri route, because it was yanderes on both sides. And it was hard to know what to do, because each yandere will protect you from the other one, maybe, but also maybe just destroy you instead.
She even told me I should kill myself.
Well, that's no good. That's never any good.
I couldn't even believe she said that. I just had to leave at that point.
Yeah. That's fair, though. That's fair.
But thinking about it now, it was a little ironic.
Monika. Monika.
Anyway, a lot of people are actually into the yandere type, you know?
As an archetype. As I was saying, reality and fiction. Reality versus fiction.
I guess they really like the idea of someone being crazy obsessed with them. People are weird. I don't judge, though.
That's good, I guess.
Also, I might be a little obsessed with you, but I'm far from crazy.
By what definition? What does it mean to be crazy, huh?
It's kind of the opposite, actually. I turned out to be the only normal girl in this game.
Is that so? Is that so? Monika, the most normal girl.
The only normal girl. It's not like I could actually. It's not like I could ever actually kill a person.
Well, that's the danger of it. When you abstract away the killing method from the actual killing, it makes it a lot easier to do. But I would say deleting their existence is kind of the same thing.
Just the thought of it makes me shiver. But come on, everyone's killed people in games before.
But this is... Is this a game for you, Monika? Is this all just a game for you? If everything is a game, then you ought to start treating it by real life standards, right? I don't know.
Does that make you a psychopath? Of course not.
I'm scared.
But if you do happen to be into the yandere type, I can try acting a little more creepy for you.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I think I'm good there.
Then again, there's already nowhere else for you to go, or anyone for me to get jealous over. Is this a yandere girl's dream?
Yes. Yes. And you are that yandere girl.
I'd ask Yuri if I could.
You could. You could bring her back. Could you? Could you bring her back? I keep thinking of all the different possibilities of how this game could go and what we could do to try to make everything okay again, but I don't know. I don't know because in the end we're constrained by what the developers wanted to happen, right?
Hey, do you like horror?
No. Not generally, no.
I remember we talked about it a little bit when you first joined the club. I can enjoy horror novels, but not really horror movies.
I could see that. I could see that. I'm a little that way too. Easier for me to read than to watch.
The problem I have with horror movies is that most of them just rely on easy tactics. Like dark lighting and scary looking monsters and jump scares, and things like that.
So you don't have a problem with movies, you just don't like the kinds that are out there?
It's not fun or inspiring to get scared by stuff that just takes advantage of human instinct.
Not fun for you. Not fun for me either, but some people really enjoy that. It's like a roller coaster, right? People like roller coasters simply because it takes advantage of human instinct.
But with novels, it's a little different. The story and writing need to be descriptive enough to put genuinely disturbing thoughts into the reader's head.
What you're saying is, I think, it's a little harder to scare people through novels than through movies? That might be true. That might be because there's fewer things to deal with, right? You can only do it through words, maybe page turns. I can see that. I can see that. You can't put a jump scare into a novel.
It really needs to etch them deeply into the story and characters, and just mess with your mind. In my opinion, there's nothing more creepy than things just being slightly off.
You can do that in movies too.
Like, if you set up a bunch of expectations on what the story is going to be about, and then you just start inverting things and pulling the pieces apart.
Are you talking a little bit about your own story?
And even though the story doesn't feel like it's trying to be scary, the reader feels really deeply unsettled.
I see, I see. That kind of horror I can kind of enjoy. That might be more along the lines of the type of stuff I tend to read.
Like they know that something horribly wrong is hidden beneath the cracks, just waiting to surface. God, just thinking about it gives me the chills. That's the kind of horror I can really appreciate. But I guess you're the kind of person who plays cute romance games, right?
Monika sounds so judgmental sometimes. So judgmental. And what about the people who started playing this game because they knew it would have horror elements, for example? I didn't know it would have horror elements when I got into it, but I did hear that it had sort of unconventional, sort of deconstruction elements, and perhaps a bit of I don't know. I knew it had unconventional elements. I guess that's as far as I knew. I didn't know exactly what they would be.
Don't worry.
Huh?
I won't make you read any horror stories anytime soon.
She says, even though it's kind of a horror game we're playing. Though at this point it is kind of relaxing in its own way, because that sort of uneasy feeling goes away when everything, you kind of know what to expect, right? Just more talking, more chatting, no matter what she says.
I can't really complain if we just stick with the romance.
Oh, Monika. Monika sure does have a lot to say. I wonder how many we've gone through so far. Oh wow, it's already been about 3 hours now. This is gonna be a long video. I guess not much longer than my actual streams though.
Hey, what's your favorite game?
My favorite game. I don't have a single favorite, but I have a few favorites. I like Professor Layton, and Animal Crossing, and Neko Atsume, and Pokemon, and Solitaire. This is a list of 5, so I will end it there. But there's a lot of other games that I enjoy.
Mine is Doki Doki Literature Club.
You love this game? If you love this game, why did you destroy it? Why?
That was a joke. But if you tell me you like something, if you tell me you like some other romance game better, I might get a little jealous.
That's it, huh? That's it? I see. I haven't played too many other romance games, actually. I played Hatoful Boyfriend, which also was kind of unconventional, you might say. I played a little bit of Yurire, which I might play more on stream later. It's kind of a fun game, but not too much I haven't played. Katawa Shoujo is also kind of unconventional.
Hey, did you know I'm vegetarian?
I did not know that.
I don't mean that like I'm bragging or anything.
Oh.
I just thought you'd enjoy a fun fact about me.
Come to think of it, maybe we did talk about this before. I don't remember at this point.
I decided to start a couple years ago after learning more about Earth's climate.
Ah, so you have climate issues in your world too?
The carbon footprint of cultivating livestock is just unbelievable.
That's true, actually. That's true.
Anyway, I decided it's not much of a personal sacrifice to just stop contributing to that whole mess.
That's valid.
What, is that so strange of a reason?
Not at all. Monika, I feel like... I feel like you have a lot of misconceptions about what is and isn't strange. I feel like you're hard on yourself a lot and say that you're very strange. Not that being strange is bad either, but you say things like, "Oh, I'm so strange." But you're not strange at all, Monika. In fact, you wouldn't be so popular of a character if you were wholly unrelatable, right? If the things that you had to say were unrelatable. I don't know.
Well, I guess a lot of people are more concerned about it being inhumane and all that.
I've seen both.
I don't really care as much about that part.
I guess that makes sense, considering you destroyed the universe. But if you destroyed the universe, why do you care about the climate?
It's weird, like we only care about killing the things that we personally relate to as a species.
Is that so weird? Seems natural to me.
Most people are fine with killing bugs because they're icky.
Are bugs icky? I don't know. I don't like killing bugs. Some of them are... I don't know if I would say icky. Some of them are cuter than others.
And of course, we kill billions of microorganisms daily without even giving it a thought.
That's just life, though. That's just life.
But suddenly, if they're just a little bit bigger, it's murder.
Yes. I mean, if we're gonna go that far... Murder is what we consider when we apply our own social standards onto other organisms that are not a part of our social... that are or are not, I guess, a part of our social sphere. It's like anthropomorphization. And I think it's more of a side effect than anything. It's more a side effect of being a social creature than any sort of objective reality. And that's okay. That's just how we're built, you know? It's like if you get to know any animal, you'll feel closer to it and won't want it to die as compared to any other animal of even the same species, right? That's just natural.
I mean, what if plants feel some kind of pain too, and we just don't understand it?
There are plants that react to being eaten, for example. They may make certain noises, or retract, or release certain chemicals. It's hard to know the experience of an organism that's very different from you. It's hard enough to know the experience of an organism that's similar to you. But ethics is not objective, in my opinion. Ethics is something we came up with, so sometimes it just doesn't make sense. And trying to make it make sense is going to make you feel lost. Because it's never going to make sense. It's just a system of heuristics. It's a system of heuristics that works well enough to keep everything going smoothly.
What if pulling leaves off a stem feels like someone ripping off your fingers one by one?
Again with the dark analogies.
I'm just saying, we're a pretty biased species if you think about it.
Yes, but no more biased than any other species. And if you think about it, the fact that we can apply ethics to other species at all makes us a little bit less biased than some species, where it's just us versus them, or me versus everything else, you know? Maybe.
Anyway, if you ever feel like making a small contribution to the planet, it doesn't hurt to choose veggies once in a while.
Okay, Monika. I don't understand fully your values, but you know, like I said, ethics are subjective and they don't have to make sense.
Even if we ever have dinner together, and you just did it for me, that would be really romantic.
That's fair. I think people have a lot of dietary preferences for a lot of different reasons. And I think that's fine. I do sometimes wonder, when people have dietary preferences based on their own ethics, you're always a little worried that maybe having different ethics will make them not like you. But I think in the end, people tend to be okay with it, right?
You're such a good listener, Nell.
That's because that's all I can do with you, Monika. You talk and I listen. And then I talk to myself and chat, I guess. But you can't hear what I'm saying. So from your perspective, all I do is listen.
I really love that about you. Sometimes I'm afraid that I'm rambling or talking about boring things.
Welcome to my world. Monika, you're lucky that you are a game character. In some ways. People can choose to listen to you or not and call you rambling or boring or whatever. But in the end, you're a game character. I often feel like I am rambling or talking about boring things because I just talk about what I feel like talking about, and I talk quite a lot. But as long as people are willing to listen and it doesn't make everyone unhappy, maybe that's okay. I wonder, because you might be boring to some people, but other people will find you interesting, right?
It makes me kind of self-conscious when I'm having a conversation. But I don't feel that way with you. Like, I don't think anyone else would make me feel this way.
Irony. Because this game has been played 1,000,000 times by 1,000,000 other people. And you said the exact same thing to them, didn't you?
You really are special. I don't want anyone to tell you otherwise.
I wonder how we're supposed to feel about this. Monika telling us we're special. Are we supposed to feel special? Or are we supposed to feel the dramatic irony of it? What is the main thesis of this game, I guess? I thought we were exploring a couple of things like feelings, dark feelings, depression, anxiety maybe, mental illness, but we're also exploring some amount of existentialism. But what about all this fourth wall breaking, right? What is the purpose? What is the mechanism of fourth wall breaking in the thesis of this game?
I wonder if I'm able to change the music.
Can you, Monika? We've been playing this for a while, this music.
Something a little more romantic would be nice, you know? Like a gentle piano.
I like piano.
There has to be something like that in here.
Is there more music in the game files? Now I want to check. Game. Game. I wonder where the music files are stored. I don't actually. Lib maybe? Oh. Yeah, maybe in here somewhere? Do we have any static files? I wonder. Well, I'll look later.
Let's see. Maybe if I...
Uh-oh.
Oh, jeez. That wasn't it at all.
What did you do, Monika? What did you do?
Sorry, I don't really know what I'm doing.
That's fair. You're just learning.
I guess I shouldn't be messing with things like that.
You say now. You say that now.
I already broke so much stuff. And deleted the other characters.
That was on purpose, though.
I'm not sad about it or anything.
I think you're a little sad about it.
It's not right for me to miss things that weren't even real in the first place.
Why not? Why not? You can miss things that weren't real. What does it mean to be real? They were real. They were real. Even if they were game characters.
If I just focus on the present, then this is the happiest I've ever been.
That's some dangerous rewriting of your past there. It's not the happiest you've ever been, but it's as happy as you are right now. Monika. There's gotta be something we can do. There's gotta be. Let's see. Renp audio. I found some audio. Oh. Renp I've heard of. I've never played around with it before, but I kind of played around with the idea of playing around with it. I always thought it may be kind of fun, you know? Since I like visual novels and all.
No. Do you believe in God?
What do you mean?
I was never too sure myself.
Oh?
Well, I'm sure I never really questioned it as a kid. But as I grew up, the more I learned about the world, the more I would question it. I started to wonder why God was helping people pass exams or get over a cold.
Wait, which god are we talking about here? I know a few kami back home, and I know of some people, some gods, like the Jade Emperor. Is he a god? I guess. There's a lot of gods out there. I don't know what you mean.
When there are children who live their lives being sold as sex slaves? Or the 800 million people who are too poor to even eat? I wonder how many of these people pray to God every day until they starve and die.
Yeah, there's still a lot of bad stuff in the world. That's true. That's true. But you gotta know how much to fixate on it, I guess. And you gotta know what you can do about it too, I guess.
Or how millions of families pray for a loved one to recover from some incurable disease. But the punchline is this. If just one person beats the odds and survives among the thousands of others who die, then it's suddenly a miracle from God. I'd really love to meet this God who seemingly laughs at the misery of everyone not eligible for his miracles. But the irony is that I do have a creator, apparently. And you know what? I bet he's still laughing at the miserable fates of Sayuri and Yuri, even as we speak.
I wonder. I don't think so. But I wonder.
What are we to him but props in a scripted play?
You're his characters. You're the characters he created.
So, from that perspective, I don't think it's too far-fetched for there to be a god if Worth was nothing but his playset.
That's an interesting perspective, Monika. Yeah, not quite sure I understand, but I guess that makes sense.
I really like the sound of rain.
Me too.
Not so much getting my clothes and hair wet, though.
Yeah, sometimes I'll put up with it because I like the rain, but it's nicer to stay dry.
But a nice quiet day at home with the sound of rainfall outside my window.
Exactly. Maybe a cup of hot cocoa, a nice warm bath.
It's one of the most calming experiences for me. Yeah. Sometimes I imagine you holding me while we listen to the sound of the rain outside.
What are you imagining, Monika? What do I even look like to you?
That's not too cheesy or anything, is it?
Oh, that seems nice. I would like to cuddle with the sound of rain.
Would you ever do that for me now?
Monika. Monika. I don't know. You're a character in the game. How am I supposed to relate to these things you're saying? As a character in a game? Or if you were a real person? Or... If you were a real person, I would need you to go get help first. Before you decide how you feel about me, you should decide how you feel about yourself. Did you say kiss? What's this all of a sudden?
This suddenly, it's a little embarrassing.
I didn't say anything like that.
But if it's with you, I might be okay with it.
What is this about?
Wow, sorry. I really couldn't keep a straight face there.
Actually, you did a perfect job keeping a straight face. However, it was a little strange.
That's the kind of thing girls say in these kinds of romance games, right?
Sometimes.
Don't lie if it turned you on a little bit.
Oh dear, Monika. Oh dear.
I'm kidding. Are you now? Well, to be honest, I do start getting all romantic when the mood is right. But that'll be our secret.
If you say so, Monika. If you say so. Was that romantic? Is that what we were doing? Seemed a bit sheepish to me. Romantic. What does it mean to be romantic? I don't know. I am just Monki.
I was thinking about Sayori earlier.
Oh? What about her?
I still wish I could have handled that whole thing a little more tactfully.
Yes, that would have been nice. Oops, sorry. That would have been nice.
You're not still hung up over it, right?
That's not good. I just realized, Monika, that was not tasteful. That is not a tasteful joke.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just said that.
I laughed before I realized it was a pun, and then I realized what it was. Did that happen to you too, Monika? You didn't even realize what you were saying? Because that was pretty bad.
That pun was completely unintentional, I swear.
If you say so. If you say so.
But anyway.
Oh, Monika.
I know how much you cared about her, so it only feels right for me to share her last moments with you.
Excuse me? What? What do you mean it feels right? I don't know about that. It doesn't feel right at all.
You know how Sayori is really clumsy?
I don't know. I don't know about this.
she kind of messed up the whole hanging thing.
Monika, I don't think I wanna hear this. Monika.
You're supposed to jump from high enough that the rope snaps your neck, making it quick and painless.
Monika, this is morbid. Sayori. Oh, Sayori. I don't like where this is going.
But she just used a chair, meaning she kind of just left herself to slowly asphyxiate. But a few seconds in, she must have changed her mind or something. Because she started clawing at the rope, trying to free herself.
Monika, stop.
She must have kept at it all the way until she lost consciousness. That's why her fingertips were all bloody anyway.
Oh, I didn't even notice. I was too shocked. Oh, Sayori. That's no good.
Come to think of it, it was probably less changing her mind and more her survival instincts kicking in.
A lot of people change their mind actually, but a lot of the times, if you're not careful, you change your mind too late.
So you can't really fault her for that.
I don't fault her for any of it.
It's easier to think that she probably wouldn't have changed her mind anyway, right?
No, it's not easier to think that at all.
It's not healthy to think about the things you could have done differently.
It's not healthy to fixate on the things you could have done differently, but thinking about them a little bit is okay.
So just remember that even though you could have saved her, it's technically not your fault that she killed herself.
You say I could have saved her. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's actually true.
I may have exacerbated it a little bit, but Sayori was already mentally ill.
That's not nice, Monika.
Still, though, I wonder how things would be if you and I just started dating from the get-go. I guess we'd still be in the club room, writing poems and having fun together.
Monika, you're being manipulative again. You're trying to put things on us, while absolving yourself of any blame.
But what's the point when none of it is even real?
You're very fixated on this idea, Monika.
I mean, it's the same ending either way, right?
I guess so.
The two of us, happily together.
Happy is, I'm not sure you're happy. I'm not sure we can even get that far and say that you're happy.
There's no reason to ask for any more than that. I was just pointlessly musing. I'm really as happy as I could be right now.
You sound like you're trying to convince yourself of that, Monika. I'm not sure I believe. I guess it might be pointless to say we should try to go back. The only way to maybe try to go back is perhaps to reset the game? Re-download the game? do wonder if I do want to try Natsuki's route. Does that mean resetting the whole game?
I'm not really a fan of cold weather. Are you?
I don't know if I would say I'm a fan or not. I don't have any strong opinions there.
If I had to choose between too cold and too hot, I would always pick too hot.
I might be the opposite there, because when you're cold you can put on more clothes, but when you're hot, there's only so many layers you can get rid of.
When you're cold, it can actually be painful.
That's true.
Your fingers get numb. And if you wear gloves, you can't use your phone.
Is that the most important thing? Monika, I get the feeling you've never experienced a true Japanese summer despite being in virtual Japan.
And it's so inconvenient. But when it's too hot, it's not that hard to stay cool with a cold drink or by staying in the shade.
Yeah, you have not experienced real heat, Monika. Real heat. We're just laying out miserably, trying to wait for the heat to go away. Not wanting to touch anything because everything is hot.
Although, I do have to admit one thing. Cold weather makes for better cuddle weather.
That's true. That's true. I'll have to agree with you there. When it's hot, it's like, even if you want the cuddles, you're like, here's my finger. You can touch my finger. That's it. No more, because it's too hot otherwise. No, I think it's much easier to deal with cold than with heat. I guess in the modern day, you can use artificial cooling to bring the temperature down quite a bit, but that takes a lot of energy too compared to the warmth of just putting on more layers.
You know, I've always hated how hard it is to make friends.
Oh, have we seen this one already? We've talked about making friends before, but maybe not this one.
Well, I guess not the making friends part, but more like meeting new people.
Ah, this does sound familiar. This does sound familiar.
I mean, there are like dating apps and stuff, right?
Aha, we have seen this. We have seen this. Okay. But we can't skip anymore. She got rid of that. Okay, so I think we've seen this already. I wonder if I can just go through it quickly. We'll see if the next one is one we've seen as well. And if that's the case, maybe the chances aren't too high that we would get 2 of those in a row. So maybe we've gone through all of them already? I don't know. Let's see. We'll see what the next one is. And at the risk of seeing spoilers, I will try to be very careful. Maybe I'll check real quick if there's a list of all the dialogues to see if we've made it through all of them or not. This was a long one, isn't it? Okay. Alright, let's see what we roll next.
You know, it kind of sucks to be the creative type.
Yeah, we saw this one. Okay. I'm going to try really quickly. TLC, Monika. Dialogue? Maybe? Maybe that's not the best way to search for it. Monika's talk. Yes, that's probably the one. Okay. Let's see. This link looks like less chance of possible spoilers. Does anyone have a link to all of Monika's dialogue in her room? Please, I just want to read all of them. Okay, a couple of people provided links. Let me very carefully view these links. I promise I will try to be very careful. Hold up, this page may contain a lot of spoilers. That makes sense. We recommended you play the game first before you read the article. Okay, let me just... here we go. Monika's topics. Okay. So... Monika's topics. Now we saw this one. Same room. Wanting to be in the same room. We saw rain. Confidence. Faking confidence. Yeah. Stay-at-home partner. Yeah. God, we saw that today. Dying, we saw that. Bad day. Yeah, we saw that one. Sleep, we got. Coyotes hanging, yeah, unfortunately. Japan. Yeah, we saw that. Depression. Yeah, we saw that. Let's see. No reason to be alive. We got that. Piano, we got that. Twitter, we got that. Yuri's book, we got that. Vegetarian, Introvert, Looking pretty good here. Files. Monika does not say this topic in the game. Okay, skipping that. Favorite color. Yeah, we got that. Music, we got that. Listener, we got that. Spicy food, Romance game, yes. Okay, everyone. Delete myself. Character archetypes. Coffee with books. Yes, I believe we got that. Favorite game. Does not say this topic in the game. Okay, so we skip that one. Poem. What's this? Remember that poem I showed you? Oh, I don't think we saw this one. So that's one that we haven't seen. It starts, hey, you remember that last poem I showed you? Maybe I'll skip reading this for now. Let's see. That's one. Happy end poem. We did see that one. I think so. That was after we played the poem game. Okay. Anxious. Yes, we did that. Friends, we got that. Education requirements. We got that. Middle school, we got. Close, we got. Horror, yes. Rap. We got that. Wine, done. Date, done. Kiss, done. Yandere, done. Tsundere, done. Arguing. Oh yes, arguing, done. Writing tip of the day, done. Habits, yes. Creative, yes. My own route, yes. Copy me? Oh yes, we did that. Avid reader, yes. Doing nothing. I think so. Yes. Mental health. Yes. Festival. Yes. Cold weather. Yes. Proud. Yes. Internet. Yes. Okay. Alright. It sounds like we went through all of them. There's just one missing, I think, that I noticed, but it may not even be missing. I may just be misremembering it. I did skim it briefly. Because I didn't remember it, but it didn't look too spoilerific. Because in the worst case, we just keep clicking through in order to find it, right? Sorry about that. Too many noises. But maybe I'll read it right now, and y'all can tell me later if I'm repeating myself. Because I think it's the only one left if we haven't seen it.
Hey, you remember that last poem I showed you? I mean, the one right before Yuri killed herself, with all the messed up colors and stuff.
Colors? I don't remember that, actually.
That was actually a little more of an experiment than a poem, you could say. I was experimenting with different ways I could modify the game and run code and things like that. It almost seemed like, with enough effort, I'd be able to escape from the confines of the game entirely. Sadly, I didn't really know what I was doing, so I messed the whole thing up. And I'd keep trying, but I doubt you'd want to deal with me doing that. Besides, that's when I was getting really desperate, you know? I don't feel that way anymore. I'm happy with where we are now, and I can tell you are too.
Yeah, I don't remember that one, but I just read through it real quick. Alright. Nice. Okay, I think at this point I am happy to say I want to figure out the final secrets of this game. The final things left to do. And so it's that'll be perfect for our next upcoming stream. I will try to figure that out. I hope it won't be too boring of a stream, because it might have a lot to do with messing around with files, which I can't really show. But I'll try to speak it out loud. Alright. So I guess that's it for today. I'm getting pretty tired and hungry, so I guess it's about time. I guess for anyone who's still watching, if anyone felt like watching this, thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you live next time when we play for reals together. Alright, thank you everyone. Bye bye now. Bye bye.